The alien vampire queen closed her eyes to die, but when she woke up, beginning, the stars burned coldly over the ruined throne world of Elara. Once, its twin moons had bathed crystal towers in silver light, but now they floated as shattered rocks, broken in the last war against a galactic coalition. At the heart of the capital citadel, beneath a vault carved with blood runes older than the galaxies themselves, the alien vampire queen lay dying. Her name was Queen Arkesadral, Empress of the Eternal Night. For 10,000 years, she had ruled her people, the Velari, a vampiric race born in the void between stars. They thrived on the life energies of other species, drinking not blood but the raw currents of bioelectric essence that flowed through veins and nerves. They were feared across systems, whispered of as demons, but they were also brilliant, builders of starships that could warp through folded space, singers of songs that bent the fabric of matter. But wars consume empires. Arkessa had gambled everything in a last stand against the coalition fleets. And though she had slaughtered millions of soldiers, the tide of war was endless. Her armies were dust. Her fleets burned. And now, in the sanctum of her ancestors, she could feel her own body unraveling. Her skin, normally silver dark and radiant with energy, had turned gray and brittle. Her heart, once strong enough to pulse in rhythm with quasars, beat unevenly. Around her, the crypt glowed faintly with the energy of stasis crystals. She had laid herself down upon the sarcophagus of her foremothers, whispering the ancient incantation. When the Dark Queen dies, may her ashes scatter into star wind. May she rest, undreaming. Her scarlet eyes closed. She exhaled a final, shuddering breath. The Queen of Night prepared to die. But death was not what greeted her. Instead, a sharp electric shock surged through her veins. Arkessa's eyes snapped open, not in a realm of shadow, but in a blinding brightness. She convulsed, gasping as if she were drowning, and found herself pinned to a strange, glowing table. Around her, lights flickered and pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat, and voices spoke in a language she did not know. Subject 0019 has stabilized. Neural activity is increasing. She's conscious. The sound was harsh, mechanical, filtered through translators. Slowly, Arkessa's vision adjusted. She was no longer in the crypt of Elara. She was aboard some kind of ship or laboratory where walls of steel shimmer with holographic displays. Tubes ran into her arms, siphoning fluids she did not recognize. And beyond a transparent barrier, she saw humans. Coalition scientists. Her lips peeled back in a hiss. She remembered the last battle. The fleets descending, the humans leading the charge of their cold, logical cruelty. Her body tensed, but she found she could not move. Energy restraints pinned her limbs, burning against her essence like acid. One of the humans approached, clad in a white coat lined with glowing tech filaments. He was middle-aged, with deep lines on his face and eyes that burned with curiosity, not cruelty. "My name is Dr. Elias Corvin," he said, his voice steady. "You are on a coalition research vessel, orbiting the wreck of your world. We recovered your body from beneath the ruins of your citadel." Arkessa's voice rasped, weak but venomous. "You dare violate my death?" Dr. Corvin did not flinch. "You were not dead, not entirely. Your physiology was in a state of stasis. We revived you." Her scarlet gaze narrowed. "Revived me for what? To display me? To parade your triumph?" Corvin shook his head. "To study you, to understand you, and perhaps to save us." The Queen laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. "Save you? I am the predator. You are prey. Why would I help you?" The doctor's expression darkened. He gestured, and a holoscreen lit up behind him. On it, Arkessa saw a spreading cloud of blackness in space, an expanding rift of swirling void energy. Stars bent and cracked as the anomaly devoured systems. "This," Corvin said, "is the Eclipser Rift. It formed after your world fell. It grows every day. Entire fleets vanish inside it. We believe it is connected to your people's energy rituals, something you awakened in your last stand." Arkessa stared, realization dawning. The blood runes in her crypt, the unleashing of her ancestors' power. She had torn the veil between worlds and left behind a wound in the galaxy. "If it spreads unchecked," Corvin said quietly, "it will consume not just us. It will consume everything, including what remains of your kind. The queen's breath caught. For all her ruthlessness, she had loved her people fiercely. If even a fragment of them survived in exile, the rift would devour them too. But still, pride burned. Why should I help you? Corvin stepped closer, lowering his voice. Because you are the only one who can. Your body resonates with the rift's energy. You survived death itself because of it. You may be the key to sealing it. Rising conflict. For weeks, perhaps months, though time blurred, Arkessa was studied. She hated the restraints, hated being a specimen, but she also felt her strength returning. The humans fed her energy, though in synthetic form, and she learned to shape it into her veins. And she watched. She listened. Not all the humans were cruel. Some were terrified of her, yes, but others looked upon her with awe. Dr. Corvin, in particular, treated her with an odd respect. He asked her about her people's rituals, about the binding of stars to their will, about the symphony of dark matter they once commanded. At first, she mocked him. Then, slowly, she found herself answering. For knowledge was power, and she wanted to understand just how powerful she was. One night, or whatever passed for night, aboard the sterile ship, alarms blared. The rift had expanded suddenly, spitting out tendrils of shadow stuff that lashed at the ship. Energy shields faltered. Chaos erupted. Arkessa felt it, like a hunger, a pull inside her soul. The rift was calling to her, recognizing her as kin. She could feel its whispers in her mind. Come, feed, merge with us, become eternal. The humans panicked, scrambling to stabilize systems. Dr. Corvin burst into her chamber, his face pale. Queen Arkessa, the rift is resonating with you. We can't control it. You're the only one who can stop it. She hissed, torn between triumph and dread. The rift wanted her. To step into it might mean infinite power or eternal annihilation. Release me, she demanded, or we all perish. Corvin hesitated only a moment before unlocking her restraints. For the first time since her supposed death, Arkessa stood free. Power rippled through her body, scarlet eyes glowing as her fangs lengthened. The humans recoiled in fear, but she did not attack them. Instead, she walked to the observation deck, gazing at the writhing darkness beyond. And then she stepped into the void. Climax. The rift swallowed her. Inside was not darkness, but a storm of shattered realities. She saw fragments of her people's past, Volari fleets blazing with glory, her own coronation beneath crimson stars, the faces of lovers and enemies long dead. Their voices screamed in her ears, demanding she join them, dissolve into the eternal hunger. The rift's essence clawed at her mind, offering godhood in exchange for surrender. She would no longer be merely queen of one race. She would be queen of nothingness, devourer of all things. But Arkessa remembered the ruins of her world, the cries of her people, the betrayal of her own hubris. She clenched her fists, summoning the old rites, the blood runes of her ancestors that still burned within her veins. I am Arkessa Drawl, she roared into the abyss. I am not your vessel. I am not your hunger. I am queen. With that, she reached deep into the storm and seized its core, a swirling heart of raw energy. It burned her, tearing at her essence, but she held on, forcing her will upon it. Outside, the rift shuddered. The humans watched as the darkness writhed, collapsed, and folded inward. And then, with a burst of light brighter than a supernova, it was gone, ending. Arkessa stumbled back into the ship, collapsing to her knees. Smoke rose from her skin, and her body trembled with exhaustion. But she was alive. The rift was sealed. The humans stared at her in stunned silence. Some looked at her with gratitude, others with fear. And Dr. Corvin, his eyes wide, bowed his head. You saved us, he said softly. Arkessa lifted her gaze, scarlet eyes glowing faintly. I saved the galaxy, she corrected. Do not mistake it for mercy. I saved what remains of my people, and myself. Still, there was a shift inside her. For the first time in millennia, she had not fought merely for conquest or hunger. She had fought for survival, hers and all others. Perhaps, she thought, the future of her kind would not be built on endless war. Perhaps there was another path. But she said nothing of this aloud. She merely rose, regal despite her wounds, and turned toward the stars. The Queen of Night, she murmured, is not so easily destroyed. And as the ship sailed into recovering void, Arkesadral, last vampire queen of Alara, closed her eyes, not to die, but to dream again,